which are having important while doing all these things. Okay, now here we have some do's and don'ts. To in a secretarial correspondence, what points should be considered properly? They are kept in do's, and what should not be done, that is in don'ts. So in the very first topic of do's is, above all else, be responsive to the correspondent concern. Try to put yourself in the place of the person receiving the response. Would you be satisfied? Means whatever you have written, are you yourself, are you are satisfied? This thing we have to consider. Then in do's, be brief, keep responses to one page. An enclosure may be used to supply additional information if absolutely necessary. Here the briefness or conciseness is very important in all business letters. Therefore, be brief. And what don't, in don'ts, don't include lengthy paragraphs describing technical matters in great depth, because here as a secretary we have to deal with many kind of peoples. Suppose you are writing to the public, and if you are using technical terms and all these things, then they will be confused. Therefore, don't include all these things in later. Okay, now use simple English, keep sentences and paragraphs short where possible. Okay, don't use technical language or jargon except when absolutely necessary and only when fully explained. In the first sentence, thank the correspondent for providing the secretary with his or her views on the subject of the inquiry. In the second sentence, thank the correspondent for any congratulatory and personal statement. That means we have to appreciate whatever he has written and whatever things he has kept brought in our mind. Don't repeat the entire lengthy questions that was posed in incoming letter. That is to say, you inquired about. Okay, now refer to the date of incoming letter whenever you are replying to someone. This is very necessary, it is mandatory to refer the date. Okay, thereafter use the response as an opportunity to inform the correspondent about any of the following: applicable, relevant, approved new initiative, recent announcement, upcomings. So these are, whenever you get opportunities, you have to keep all these things in mind. Okay, and all congressional and governational correspondence with, please call me if you have any further thought or questions. Okay, now this is all. Thank you very much.
We should thank you, Professor Chetan Joshi, for
Thank you.
giving us elaborative explanation of secretarial correspondence. What I have learned from your lesson is that it's a huge task. You know, to be a secretary is not an easy task.
Yeah, that's
it's very difficult to correspond to all these agencies. Though we have to keep in mind all the university syllabus, you know, and we have, I think you have focused on the communication with shareholders especially.
Yeah, that's
that is so nice of you. We are running short of time, so now Mr. Jay Pathak is with us. We are very happy to have him with the studio in the studio. હું એક રિક્વેસ્ટ પાઠક સાહેબ આપને કરીશ કે ડોન્ટ ગો ઇન ટુ ધ ડિટેલ ઓફ એક્સપ્લેનિંગ ધ થિંગ્સ. કદાચ વિદ્યાર્થી મિત્રો એ બુકમાંથી વાંચી શકશે, પણ હું ખાસ આપને એક રિક્વેસ્ટ કરીશ કે પ્રેક્ટિકલ પોઈન્ટ ઓફ વ્યૂથી બેક કોરસ્પોન્ડન્સમાં કઈ કઈ વસ્તુનું ધ્યાન રાખવાનું હોય.
Bank manager practically working in this field,
Exactly.
he may throw light on the functions of banks, just like that.
So over to Mr. Jay Pathak, please.
Good morning, friends. We may go beyond your syllabus. Certain things may not be there in your syllabus. So friends, you all know the basic functions of the bank. The basic function, what? The borrowing. The borrowing may be in the form of fixed deposits, may be in the form of opening of savings account, opening of current accounts, opening of recurring account. So far as concerned the savings account, there is a change. There is a change of payment of interest, as there is mentioned in your book. The interest is paid on the minimum balance after the 10th of every month. Now there is a change. recently the change has been made. The interest is paid at the rate of 3.5%, and the interest paid, it is on the daily basis. So you need not to worry that I should not keep the balance, or I should keep the minimum balance after 10th. So it is not at all required. You can maintain, you can withdraw, you can deposit the funds as and when you like, and you will get the interest on the amount deposited with your savings bank account. So next thing is the lending. The second function of the bank is lending. So banks give loans to the customers, then in the form of loans. The loans are of different types. It may be a housing loan or education loan, or it may be vehicle loan, or for cash credit also. Suppose a certain person wants a working capital fund, so we may give the cash credit facility to the borrower. It may be in the form of overdrafts. Overdraft may be against the shares, it may be against the fixed deposits. So a person can meet his working capital requirements out of CC or overdraft facility. Now suppose we go to miscellaneous services. Miscellaneous services are, you basically you know the miscellaneous services, but we will go beyond that. The lockers are given on rent to the locker holders. Another thing is bank guarantee. Bank also issues the bank guarantee to the customers. Bank guarantee is required where a person wants to complete a certain function. Suppose he wants to undertake construction work of certain government, so a bank guarantee is very much required. Then bank also gives that collection of checks and all these things, you know. But beyond that, recently the RBI has also introduced two things, the RTGS and NEFT. What RTGS is? Real time gross settlement. Previously what was happening was, suppose a customer deposits check for clearance, and if it is outstation check, for outstation checks it used to take 10 days, 15 days time to get credit in his account. But what now is real time gross settlement and NEFT. NEFT is National Electronic Fund Transfer. In real time gross settlement or in NEFT, the person gets credit on the same day, and within 3 or 4 hours he gets the credit. So far as NEFT is concerned, NEFT, those checks, those transfers below 1 lakh are covered in NEFT, and above 1 lakh are transferred through RTGS system. So there is no time required for the fund transfer in this system. Mr. Joshi has also talked about dematerialization of shares, so I won't talk about the dematerialization. Banks are also giving the facility of stamp franking to the customers. Previously the refund orders were given to the shareholders physically. Now that has been discontinued, and new system, NECS, National Electronic Clearing System, has been introduced recently, and all the member banks get the benefit of it, and the dividends or the refund orders are automatically gets credited in the savings or current or any other account maintained by the customers. Then the solvency certificate. Bank also issues a solvency certificate. Bank does not assume any responsibility in issuing the solvency certificate on the grounds of annual report or balance sheet or profit and loss account given by the customers. Bank issues a solvency certificate. Bank also charges something for issuing the solvency certificate. Banks also collect income tax, wealth tax, gift tax, all these types of central sales tax, then Gujarat sales tax, service tax, all these type of taxes are recovered, that is collected by the banks. Bill collection, then bankers to the issue. Bank also act as a bankers to the issue. SEBI issues the permission it gives the registration to the banks for becoming a bankers to the issue. Banks can issue the refund orders, dividend warrants if a bank is a bankers to the issue. Another function latestly which is introduced is the ASBA. ASBA is application supported by blocked amount. Previously, the long application forms were to be filled in by the applicants and submitted to the brokers. Then brokers were depositing the checks along forms along with the checks to the bankers, and thereafter the the clearing process and everything was processed. Nowadays, a new system ASBA is introduced, application supported by blocked amount, in which the customers, those who are the account holders of a particular bank, and those banks who have been granted the ASBA facility by SEBI, they are entitled for processing the applications of their account holders, only of their account holders, no other person can. So a short form is to be filled in by the only few details: the number of shares applied for, the cutoff, and the demat account number, the depository number. Only 5 or 6 things are to be filled in that form, and it is to be submitted. No need to give a check along with the application form. What happens is the account is debited, account is not debited, but the account is freezed for the amount applied for. After the application also does not physically move from the bank to the registrar or to the company. Till the allotment gets finalized, the amount remains with the bank, it remains freezed in that particular account. After the allotment is finalized, registrar intimates to the bank that so and so number of shares are been allotted to the particular investor. So what bank will do is, bank will debit the particular account and credit the bank's particular escrow account. After crediting the escrow account, through RTGS or through any other mode of transfer, the bank will transfer the funds to the registrar's account. So this is the latest thing you would like to know. Further, the banks are also interested in referral business. So only the interest income is not sufficient for banks to survive. So referral business is the new thing which has been introduced. Banks are interested in, banks also give the insurance, life insurance as well as the general insurance. Banks also sells the mutual funds of many AMCs, asset management companies. Banks also sell the gold coins. Then broking business. Banks don't directly indulge in the broking business, but they provide the platform to the investors and to the account holders, to the demat account holders of their bank, and they provide the platform for broking business. So friends, now going to the communication. These were the beyond your curriculum. Now ways to communication recently and the latest trends. Yeah. The latest trends for communication. Maybe it may be SMS facility, it may be email, or it may be advertisement or like that. But what SMS does, let me tell you, as soon as I get credit or my account is debited by certain amount, I will immediately get an SMS. I will immediately get an SMS from the bank that so much so amount has been debited from your account. So I will come to know what has been going on with my account. Email. No need to write physical letters to the bankers. You can write whatever your concerns are, whatever your grievances are through email to your bankers. Bankers also in turn will reply through email. Bankers may send the statements of your account through email. So the latest trends in communication has been changed, and written communication has been reduced.
That is more easier and faster.
Yeah,
as well, isn't
it has been become easier and faster also.
And especially one more thing I would like to share with you and with the students as well, that we are more interested in the paperwork as well, because paperwork is also a part of our syllabus for the students. So would you mind showing some actual papers, if you have brought some papers,
Sure.
which we can show and talk?
Sure. One thing is, sir, the characteristics of good communication, as you have all learned, it may be clear, brief and concise, persuasive, courteous, all these things. But circumstances under which clients write to bank, you know the basic things, but client would write to bank in more other circumstances. It may be for the loan applications. Basically, customers are not required to write to the bank, they have to fill in an application form. The application forms are different for different loans. It may be for a vehicle loan or housing loan or a machinery loan or CC, any other loan, but forms are prescribed for that purpose. If you have any grievance against the bank, you can also write your grievance to the bank. These are the points, these are the things which you need to convey to your bank. Most important thing is change of address, change of signature. If there is a change of address from one place to another place, you need to give the documentary proof of the change of address. You need to, if you need to change the signature, you need to go to the bank and again sign on the card, and you can change the signature along with the application. You may also like to change the operational authority. Operational authority means it may be either a survivor, it may be by only one, it may be a joint operational authority. Suppose you want to change from either a survivor to joint, so jointly by two. So you have to write an application to the bank showing that you want to change the operational authority from single holder, either a survivor, to the joint. Suppose minor has been turned to major, so an application needs to be drafted.